going to start recording and going to start playing video in 3, 2, 1. But it hasn't started yet, so I gotta wait. All right, 3, 2, 1. Well, this is Morning Perfect Bass. I am Van Velding. I'm going to work on my perfect bass a little bit each month, and after a couple of months, we're going to see how much progress we've made. Today, I'm going to do two things. I'm going to do some smelting. I'm just doing some real basic around the house stuff. I'm going to do some smelting. That's going to mean I'm going to go into the nether and get some lava. And then I am going to remake my bar. My bar is where I start each episode. I want to make some changes to it because one of the things that I don't like about this series is that I use stone tools because I'm a cheap, hoardy, miserly bastard. And I know that I do a lot of crafting of those tools. It totals up for those of you that actually watch the video portion of this and don't just listen to the audio in another tab. For those of you who choose to fully immerse yourself in this experience, or who have chosen not to because of all the stone tools I make, I'm going to make some droppers or some dispensers or whatever, and I'm going to fill those up with stone tools so that every time I run out of stone tools, I can just hit a button and it'll shoot more tools at me, which seems super obvious in retrospect, but it's going to be great. And then I can just refill them off camera every couple months. It'll be fun. Right, today's going to be a little different though. Today is a Magic thing. And Magic, I guess their tournament scene has been chaotic. I don't know. I hear people complaining about it, but they're Magic players, so I have no floor for that. So they're all like, the tournament scene is so bad. It's worst ever. Only $1,000. So for me, my general impression is negative, but completely. However, Magic recently released an esports catalog, and because I am an insane man standing on an apple cart on a street corner yelling about how Magic Arena, the digital Magic experience, is going to kill tabletop, and Wizards wants that to happen, I am keenly interested in how they changed their big tentpole events to structure around digital versus paper. So to that end, when they did release a big comprehensive post on how they're going to be handling their esports, their competitive events going forward, which are, again, get out the apple cart, they call esports collectively, even though it includes the tabletop element. It's a soapbox, not an apple cart. Anyway, so I looked at it and it seems insane. I think it's probably of more use to people who do competitive Magic, which I do not. So yeah, and finally I'm getting some use out of all those bows that I've been gathering from skeletons for a decade. So I only have one enchanted bow at a time, maybe two, but then I have 20 bows. I think now that I reflect on that, those were a lot of peak condition bows, and I could have used any old beat up bows. But I think for storage and just general, I want things to be in good shape purposes, I tend to mix up all my damaged bows together so that they just look good. And it gives me fewer bows. So I could make twice as many dispensers. And I don't think I'm going to cry over that. I don't think I'm in such a resource crunch. I need to maximize my bow to dispenser conversion rate. Regardless, I am going to go through this new esports post from Magic. And, part of me making the dispensers here is that I need to put them in a central location that I go to and that I can easily access. There's no better place to do that than my bar. So I need to move the entire bar up a notch. I can either make the bar out of fucking dispensers, which I think it'd probably be passable. I need to put the buttons on top, or I need to put like a switch on top. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to go with a slightly more radical design, and I'm going to raise the bar by a level. And we're going to see how that changes things. That is something which is new, something which I think has potential, and something that kind of excites me with its weirdness. It's a very small change that makes me uncomfortable for no fucking reason. So obviously I want to do it. So let's talk about the Magic Esports website. It is white text on black. I am personally a big fan of this. As you guys know, my website and my blog both use this dark motif before it was called dark. Before, when it was just called, Chris, this looks bad. So it's what they do. So I'm a big fan of it. Some of it is like a light gray, which I'm a bigger fan of. I just prefer the light gray on black. I prefer the light gray on a very dark gray, honestly. So they talk about, they've created a new level of play and professional support. It's all that jerk-off stuff. The stuff that you're kind of used to. Results have been terrific. I'm sure they have been. Honestly, if a tournament caught on fire and burned to the ground, they'd still say that it did terrifically. So yeah, why can't I just put the buttons on the things? That's even more efficient, really. If it can shoot things out through the button, then that's even more reasonable. And then I can put stuff on the bar again. I can put pictures on the bar again. I mean, I kind of like the stone motif, but if you look at Perfect Base 3, I actually put little pictures on the bar, and I think that looks great. That's what I've done on the server as well, on the Banana Viking server, and I've been pretty happy with how that looks. I'm not happy with that build. The dual building chunk builds have been pernicious, I think is the word I'm looking for. Bad is another word. Just bad. Anyway, so they go on to say, we see room for improvement. Magic's growing on tabletop and arena. Blah blah blah. Competitive format. So they're going to be based on feedback. Now, apparently, these rules have changed a lot over the past couple of years. Like not even having the same rules in place for a whole year has been my impression, which seems insane since it's competitive play. Your most bought in players, like literally for money, who are then planning on getting money back, are the guys who participate in these things. And it's super weird that they don't, that people are hoping these rules will remain in place for a long period of time, like an entire season. Okay, so they have this great graphic here. It's called Opportunities to Complete. And then it's got the website, which is magic.gg, which I guess they changed. It used to be, I think it was like wizards.magic.com or something like that. So Magic GG, I don't know if that's the entire... I don't go to the Magic Mothership that much anymore, honestly. So I quit reading the fiction. Because, I noped out back during War of the Spark. So I only keep in touch with like spoilers and stuff. Not a lot. And then it's got like a big world championship logo, which they say is their primary event. Like that's their main focus. And that makes sense. That is a battery of tournaments that all come together to determine the world champion of whatever, I guess, every year. On the left, you have Magic the Gathering. On the right, you have Magic the Gathering Arena. It's a great Magic, which is kind of done with what's become Magic's graphical style lately, which is dark grays with slightly lighter grays on top and some white and some black in there. Let's take the left side first. That is the tabletop tournaments, the real actual tournaments. Give me that Silk Touch pickaxe. I'm going to pick up my end chest. I miss this so much. I don't have one of these on the server, and it makes me very sad. At the top is the Players Tour Finals. Surely everyone who plays Magic is a player, but fine. Players Tour is the tour of the players. That's great. Let's do that. This was a fantastic plan. I love being knee-deep in blocks of my most valuable materials. And while I know that no lava will come here and that I won't suddenly be removed from this block while 5 minutes pass and all of these things despawn, I feel an immediate regret for everything I've done. Not just now, but forever. Right, so below that you have Players Tour Americas, Players Tour Europe, Players Tour Asia Pacific. So obviously there are regionals that feed into the Players Tour Finals. Makes perfect sense. And then at the bottom of that, you have Players Tour qualifiers. Oh, I think I may have done it stupid. Yeah, fuck it. All right, so Players Tour qualifiers, WPN qualifiers, Premier Series, Grand Prix at Magic Fest, Magic the Gathering Online. Magic the Gathering Online is a separate online Magic experience that is not related to Arena. So Player Tour qualifiers, I don't know what that is. What do I do? Yeah, it should be wood. Yeah. It's gonna be fine. So I guess Cauldron's empty whenever you break them, which makes sense. I really fucked that up, didn't I? I fucked that up. Okay. WPN qualifiers, I believe that's Wizards Play Network. So that's like your regular qualifiers that are in stores or probably participating locations. Like, I don't think the place that's around the corner from where I live has like a qualifier. Premier Series, no idea. It says new on that, so maybe I'm not supposed to know yet. Maybe that will be revealed further down. Grand Prix at Magic Fest. I know Magic Fest are like a new name for some big Magic events. Most of the haranguing you hear about Magic spending less on things come from whatever the Magic Fests were. I think they may have used to been called Grand Prix, and now they have Grand Prix at Magic Fest. So anyway, I think a Grand Prix is it's like a tournament, and then if you do good in it, you can go to your regional tour. I have no idea what a Grand Prix is. And finally, Magic the Gathering Online, which is just, I guess, people who qualify via another Magic Online hoobly bloop. And then on the right, you got Magic the Gathering Arena, that whole bit, which has its own feed into the World Championship. And that ends with the Mythic Invitational, which, is an invitational, I guess. I don't know what the difference is in a tournament structure between you qualified for it and it's an invitational. I assume some people are just like, oh yes, of course, you may come. You have been invited. Whereas qualified people, they don't get invited. They earn their way in. That's my fucking back of the envelope impression here. Let's see. New Rivals Mythic Qualifier, new Mythic Point Challenges, and a Mythic Qualifier. Okay, so Rivals is its own feed-in. No idea what that is. At the very bottom is the top 1,200 ranked players in Limited and Constructed. So those top 1,200 ranked players, they feed into the Mythic Point Challenges and the Mythic Qualifier. Although actually the Mythic Point Challenges don't feed into the Mythic Invitational, so maybe they all get killed at the end. Who knows? Anyway, so really just the Rivals Mythic Qualifier and the regular Mythic Qualifier. So Rivals is a modifier Mythic Qualifier. Why is it to the left of Mythic Qualifier on this graphic? Maybe I'm nitpicking. Maybe it's placed that way so as to avoid any sort of connection that the other sequence would imply and that the names also imply. Anyway, so they're super excited about Magic's competitive future. This is a weird idea for a Morning Perfect base. More opportunities for players to reach the highest levels of competition in both the tabletop and MTG arena, creating awesome viewing experiences for fans. Yeah, they do want people to watch, which I think is reasonable. I think that's part of how you get headspace. So now they're going to break the news down into sections. Magic Pro League and Rivals League. I just went on at some length about Rivals League. I'm scrolling back up to the opportunities to compete graphic. I don't see Pro League. I see lots of players tours. No, I don't see that. Okay, so I have no idea what Magic Pro League is. Next one is the MPL Gauntlet, which is great because I guess something. And then player rankings, which aren't a big deal for me. And then also Tabletop Magic Players Tour, which is just the Magic Players Tour. And then Path to the Top, Players Tour events, the qualifying level. And then in separate bullet point, MTG Arena tournaments. Again, it's just not consistent. Magic the Gathering Arena. No. Actually, it's super consistent. It's the exact same thing. I was being bitchy from the tabletop bit. Okay, and then finally, partial season, the world, which I'm sure is going to be like the Gap of whatever bridges what's happening now to then. And the World Championship and the 2019 season, and then how do I get started, which I think is important for people who are new. And I'm sure that as someone who's never, that's a lot of shovels, man. As someone who's never participated in it before, that is like the one part of this that I think is pitched directly to me, right? Is that really all I need? Yeah, okay. All right, I guess I only have like 3 tools that I use on the reg. So this 4th box is just going to be for hose. I don't know. Huh. All right, well, let's get a shovel back. Oh, fuck, what? I'm not 100% on what just happened there. Okay, I am now, actually. I think what happened is that when you hit the buttons, it doesn't just energize the block it's on, it energizes the block below it and the block on either side of it, which is reasonable. So I'm just going to need to do that. So, that's fine. That's fine. So I guess I can't save space that way. The Magic Pro League and Rivals League. Okay, we're further defining how you get into the Magic Pro League, MPL, and creating Rivals League as a stepping stone to the top. Okay. It looks like that only applies to Magic Arena, but okay. Talent Development League that will feed the MPL. Okay, so Rivals League is below the Magic Pro League. Rivals will make it into the MPL either through sustained success over the course of the season or through an exciting new tournament called the MPL. Anything that's exciting and new, let me tell you, man, it's not exciting to us. If you're making something and you're like, this is exciting and new, that's sales talk, and it is immediately untrustworthy. The Rivals League will consist of 46 players as followed. Yeah, that's a big tent that you're going to use to develop talent. Okay, all right, sure. I'm sure there's more to it. 1st through 12th ranked digital players. Okay. 1st through 12th ranked tabletop players who were not previously already in the league. Bottom 12 players from the MPL Gauntlet. I don't see that. And then bottom 4 players from the previous MPL season. Okay. And then 6 discretionary invites. And I guess it's presumed it's 12, 24, 36, 40, 46. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out what happens to the people in the previous season. Because the top ranked players can't get in because the top 12th ranked players for digital and tabletop specifically says not previous in the MPL. The bottom 12 players from the MPL Gauntlet, which have some, and then the bottom 4 players from the previous MPL season, and 6 discretionary invites. So it looks like you can be in it twice if you were really bad at it last time. Like if you're in the bottom 4 ranks, you just get a do-over thing. I'm going to put buckets of water in that final one because I don't know, man, fuck it. I need 5 to make it look good. And then 6 discretionary invites, which I guess means for whatever they want. All right, Magic Rivals League. So I still don't know what the MPL Gauntlet is. So it just breaks the thing down that I just belabored. It's got this like generic green background. And the other one has like a thing red like fire background. It's just interesting. Like it's visually exciting. Oh, all right, it's not visually exciting. It's visually stimulating. But what I don't, it would be great if there were colors. If those colors meant something and maybe they fit into other things. Anyway, whatever. Rivals will receive invites to events, including Players Tour events and their own Rivals Mythic qualifier. Right, I talked about that before, and can earn up to, so basically $1 maybe. So in addition to prizes earned at tournaments. Okay. At the same time, the MPL will become a 24-player league with players able to earn at least $1 in appearance fees in addition to prizes earned at tournaments. MPL players will also be invited to Mythic Invitationals and Tabletop Players Tour events. Mythic Invitationals. Are those on the big thing? Yes, it's the very end of a Magic Arena. It's the very top level of Magic Arena. So that this plugs into a couple different things on the big one. I mean, I think you could have put an asterisk or a plus here and just say, hey, we can insert Magic Pro League guys into this at like these points here. Whatever. All right, there's MPL. Okay. The start of the partial season is 24 players. 4 compete to hold their spots. 16 get a bye. And you get bottom 14. So wait, I thought... Oh, that's the Rivals League. Okay, so the Rivals League is 46. And then... that's the stepping stone to the 24. Okay. I don't see how to get into there, but because I'm just about out of time. So this, I'm just gonna keep rambling. I'm gonna put like some screenshots over this. Let's see. The MPL Gauntlet. The end of each season will host a tournament that elevates the best rival league players to the MPL and relegates the poorest performing MPL players to the Rivals League, the bottom 4. And so then the top 24 from there, so they just stay in that league. And therefore, I guess they're going to be a 20-man league at some point. All right, let's see. All right, so you got 24 players, 4 compete to hold their spot, and then 4 drop to the Rivals League. Okay. So then there's a gauntlet to churn for the other 16. So the top 16 players always stay in. But I guess you have to perform throughout the season. So there you go. And I'm sure they said there was a ranking system, so that's going to be great. See, the top 16 players in the MPL automatically remain. Bottom 4 is relegated to the Rivals League and cannot participate in the gauntlet. You guys watch the MST 3K Rebirth? And they have 6-episode mini-season called The Gauntlet. Okay. The top 2 ranked players from the Rival League in both Arena and Tabletop will automatically be offered MPL contracts and won't participate in the Gauntlet. Okay, so those guys are in. So, out of 24 players, 21 through 24 are going to get kicked, and then 17 through 20 are going to have to fight in a Gauntlet that's going to kick 4 out. And then those other 4 guys, they're going to be automatically added. The MPL Gauntlet tournament that will therefore comprise 16 competitors as followed. The MPL players ranked 17th to 20th, which I just said. The Rivals ranked 3rd to 8th, right, because 1st and 2nd automatically get in on MTG Arena play. Rival players ranked 3rd to 8th on Tabletop play because first 2 places already get in. So if you're like the 9th rival, you're just in the Rivals League. I guess the only way to get in is to get into the top 2 spots, the top 8 spots. So, okay, top 4 players in the MPL Gauntlet tournament make to the MPL, right, which was from the picture. I saw the picture. All right, and the other 12 go to the Rivals League. So, that makes sense. And then, all points will be reset after this tournament for the start of the new season. Okay, that's interesting. Once the MPL Gauntlet tournament has taken place, the Rivals League will consist of bottom 12 performers of the Gauntlet, 1st through 12th at-large arena-ranked players, 1st through 12th at-large tabletop-ranked players, the bottom 4 MPL players, and 6 discretionary slots. Isn't there different requirements for the Rivals League earlier? Basically the same. I said that just because there was silence, and I thought, I don't want there to be silence. 6 discretionary invites, bottom 4 previous users, bottom 12 from the Gauntlet, 1st through 12th ranked, digital, 1st through 12th ranked. Alright, so after the MPL Gauntlet, the MPL will consist of Mythic Players League. Okay, the Rivals League will consist of the bottom 12 performers from the Gauntlet, 1st through 12th Arena players, 1st through 12th Tabletop ranked players, bottom 4 MPL players, and then 6 discretionary slots, because they can always just make this stuff up. After the MPL Gauntlet, the Magic Players League will consist of the top 16 players from the previous MPL season, 4 guys from the Gauntlet, and then top 2 from Players Points, top 2 from Mythic Points, which are, they seem to use interchangeably with the top Arena players and the top Tabletop players. I suppose they'll take an Arena and Tabletop player with the most player points and the Arena and Tabletop player with Mythic points. No, because player points specifically means Tabletop. Player means Tabletop. Meanwhile, Mythic means Arena. It's a point-based system, and they're just going to take the top 2. Okay, top 2 straight up by points. There aren't different point systems. I don't know these things. We have separate tracks for player ranking points for MTG Arena play and Tabletop play. Shit, they're separate points. the MPL tracking rankings combining the two. For arena play, we will be keeping mythic points, and mythic points can be earned at mythic invitationals, mythic qualifiers, and mythic point challenges. That brings us back to our first diagram. There have been like 3 more diagrams. Mythic points, rivals mythic, and then mythic qualifiers. Mythic qualifiers, mythic point challenges, and then mythic invitationals are the final bit. If the mythic qualifier feeds into the mythic invitational, it seems that by the time you get people to the mythic invitationals based on their mythic qualifiers, it seems like you're done with the qualifier points, because intuitively for a tournament structure, once you get in to the next tier, then your performance should be based on the performance in that tier. I mean, you can have like a season-wide point, right? And therefore, the point score that gets you into the qualifiers is part of like your overall point score. But it would be weird if there was a point structure that gets you through the qualifiers, and then you do the invitationals, and there's a different point structure. So then you have a point structure for the invitationals and a point structure for the qualifiers that neither complement nor add into like a unified season thing. For tabletop play, they'll be tracking player points. You can earn player points at championship level event. These include player tours by region, and then player tour finals. Those aren't actually called out as championship events in any kind of way on the master document. You just got to know that. You just got to remember that there's also a category called championship events, and those are the ones where you can earn player points at. It's not what they call an informative diagram. It's a simple diagram though. The words are complicated, and really, if your diagram doesn't need words, then what's the point of all visual information then? If you don't have to explain it on a page, boxes are for. You just put things in boxes, and so and then you say things. You get the boxes and the words, the best of both worlds. Finally, MPL rankings will be determined by a combination of mythic points, player points, and points earned from MPL split play. I don't even know what MPL split play is. I assume that's just like a super common thing that aspiring competitive Magic players are going to know what is. Top planked MPL players will be the players who do the best across all of our top level play opportunities. So, if you want to be their lover, you got to get with Magic Arena. I mean, maybe, I don't know. Like, I think regardless, either player points or arena points are going to be considered to be a more efficient way to get into these higher level rankings. And honestly, I think if there's some situation where higher level play is determined by a few fussy points one way or the other, I don't think anyone's going to be really mussed about who the individual better player is. I think if you're talking about events where thousands of people are doing pass fail, and it's better to either live in a city where you can go to a bunch of events or sit in your house and play arena all day, then I think people are going to bitch about it. Players Tours Magic's new tabletop competitive structure focuses on creating more opportunities for more players around the world through a regionalized tournament system. There will be 3 of them. See, I called these regionals. I called it as I saw it. If you live in one region and want to play another, you can do that. You are limited in playing in just one regional Players Tour event per Players Tour finals. Okay. Year-long season of the Players Tour will have 3 Players Tour events per region, making a total of 9 Players Tours per season. So that earlier diagram is types of events, not actual events. I mean, obviously, they didn't just have one Wizards Play Network entry and then you're supposed to like go to that one Friday Night Magic for the whole season. That would be stupid. These night events will offer approximately 3,600 invites, double the 1,800 the old one. I'm sure someone's going to hate that. And the tabletop path at the top. You can qualify for a Players Tour event by winning or placing highly at a qualifier level event. These include Players Tour qualifiers, WN qualifiers, Grand Prix, Players Tour Premier Series, and Magic Online events. Not literally Magic Online, but the very specific program called Magic Online. Doing well at Players Tour will earn you prizes and invites to future Players Tours. Top finishers will be invited to Global Players Tour Final, where you face off against the most successful players in the world. Okay. I mean, not you. I mean, not you. But, the hypothetical you who's a successful person reading this. Final goal is to claim your spot in the Rivals League by earning enough points from the Players Tour and Players Tour Finals events. Isn't the final goal to win the World Championship? Claim your spot in the Rivals League by earning enough points from the Players Tour Final events. After this, you fall just short of reaching the Rivals level. You don't have to start at the bottom again. Okay, I'm still baffled because I guess, is the Magic Pro League the champions? Are they going to be the world champions? Is that what they do? I guess. Okay, but anyway, after this, if after this you fall just short of reaching Rivals level, you don't start at the bottom again. It just seems like Rivals is explicitly a thing that is to get you to the big place. And they're like, your ultimate goal is to get to the Rivals League. And it's like, admittedly, that's a more realistic goal for most people, in that, winning $1 million in the lottery is a more realistic goal than winning $10 million. But whatever, you don't have to start at the bottom again. Doing well at the player tour but not well enough to qualify for a final can also qualify you for the next round of players tours. This is based on record, not place finish, and is similar to how players could string together invites under the old system. Well, whoop-de-doo. Whoop-de-doo at the old system. If you did well last season, you can still get in. You can still get your foot in the door for the next season, which seems kind of reasonable, I guess. I don't know. It seems like you could just do well again, And it's like, is doing well in a particular season just a formality? It's just like, oh yeah, you don't have to do all that boring playing Magic and making good decks again. God, no, yeah, no, you don't do that. Doing well at Players Tour Finals can qualify you for the next Players Tour Finals, depending on your final record. All finals participants qualify for the next regional tour. So naturally, yeah, if you were good enough to qualify for Tier N, then you automatically get into Tier N -1 for next season. You've proven at least good enough to get your foot in the door in that respect. Let's see, Players Tour events. Oh wow, I'm like halfway down this. Fuck this. What's the card? I like looking at cards. Cryptic Command. Okay, cool. Arena turn. It just keeps going, man. There's another diagram. Alright, that's the 2020 partial season. That's just like stopgap stuff. 2019 season, it's a whole schedule of shit. That is my overview until I'm bored of the new Magic tournament structure, as a person who doesn't know the first fucking thing about it. If this was informative to you, I find that wild. Frankly, I find it totally, totally wild. But I'm happy. I'm happy that this was good for you. Keep asking questions about things and keep learning. This was good for you. Keep asking questions about things and keep learning.